Greetings. Hoping all is well out there, wherever you are in the world. I am coming to you live just to share a tidbit of advice. So I'm in one of my favorite community places to be. I'll show you. Hey Shaku, thanks for joining. How do I turn this thing around? I would think I'd figure all this out by now. Hey Sheila. How do I turn this thing around? I guess I can't. But I'll just turn my camera around like so. So I'm just in my neighborhood, right? And I like coming to this little neighborhood park because it doesn't get a lot, as you can see, don't get a lot of activity at all. And this is pretty much as much activity as this park gets on a regular. Weekends, weekdays, morning, noon, or night. Sometimes the guys will come out and play kickball and stuff like that, but for the most part it's this secluded. So well, maybe that's not the proper word to use, but you know what I mean. You don't get a lot of traffic. Just came to get grounded a little bit, got my feet in the grass with no shoes to pull some of those energetic forces from the ground into my body and to help center a lot of the energy in the body. But I wanted to talk real briefly about the importance of doing things like this, standing still and just being, when there's so much fast-paced activity going on all around us. I can remember how those of you who've known me for a while know that I did a 10-year stint in real estate. So I sold real estate homes for 10 years and was pretty successful at it. Was pretty successful, and I got towards the end where my lifestyle became hectic. It was nothing for me to have 5 or 6 buyers at one time, clients buying homes. And any of you know anything about real estate, having 2 buyers at one time can be hectic. But having 5 and 6 at one time takes a lot of energy from you. Because you're just constantly moving, constantly making phone calls, constantly shoveling papers, constantly going out seeing homes. So towards the last, I would say 3 to 4 years of my real estate stint, things got so hectic to where I didn't like it anymore. I didn't want to do it anymore because it used to be fun and exciting, and learned a lot of things and met a lot of beautiful people and helped a lot of people gain this success and doing their real estate and purchasing and selling and things like that. It got to the point where I didn't want to do it anymore. I dreaded when my phone would ring. I would roll my eyes. Money on the other end. People, hey, come list my house, and it was at the top of the market, a seller's market, to where all I had to do is slap the property in the MLS, and 48 hours later I had 10 contracts for them to choose from, and it was just that simple. And 30 days later we were going to settlement and everybody getting paid. So even in instances like that, I didn't want to, I wasn't interested anymore. I used to turn away more business than I got because I was exhausted. And I learned from that process, and I actually left. I left for, that was one of the main reasons why I stopped. It's because I just didn't find interest in it anymore. But what I learned from that experience was to listen to my body and my spirit when it spoke to me, and not ignore that process and full steam ahead and pushing forward and doing things on the strength of making money, you know, and how damaging and detrimental that can be when that becomes your sole focus in life. Getting the bag, you know, everybody, you know, running, hustle, bustle to a point where if I sat down too long at that point, I felt guilty. You know, I felt guilty. I can recall like going on vacations, and one time I went somewhere for a week, and I really wasn't even able to wind down to even be able to enjoy myself at a beautiful place on vacation until like day 3 or 4, because my body was so accustomed to being moving and sitting. My mind was so used to always in work mode, and you know what I'm saying, that even when it was time for me to chill and relax, it took more than a moment for me to get to that relaxed space. And I don't think that's healthy. In fact, I know that's not healthy, because I just know, based on how I live my life today versus how I did yesteryears, and a difference in how I feel. And so I do things like this on a regular basis. And I found myself, I made a pact with myself that what I would not ever do anymore is pile too many things on my plate at one time, because that's when I find the anxiety, the stress, the tension, and all those things rising up. And so, you know, I put two together. I said, okay, so this is the cause of why my body feels the way it feels, so I need to readjust some things. And so I made a pact with myself years ago that I wouldn't do that anymore. But I found here lately that I was easing back into that space, and I could tell because of how I felt, you know. And I'm like, no, it's time to say no to some things, you know. And then, you know, because especially for those of you guys out there who have a lot of talents and skills, to where other people notice and pick up on those things, and like to use them to benefit themselves as well. Now, that's not necessarily a bad or evil thing, you know what I'm saying? I think self-preservation is the first law of nature, so that's kind of natural for people who, you know, have their own desires and goals and dreams and aspirations in life, and they see that you have some talents and skills that can help them reach those goals and aspirations, so you become a benefit to them, and so they reach out to you in support of helping them. We all do that, so I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying if you're not careful out there, those of you who have gifts and talents that other people pull from, and if you're not careful, you can find yourself caught up in the process of other people's dreams, and you're being what's the word? I don't want to say used, but your energy is being pulled in a whole lot of different directions, and that can be draining for you. So be careful of that, and be mindful of the word no, that 2-letter word, and how helpful that can be, and just making sure you stay centered yourself. So anywho, I just want to come on and just make that message. Hey, Eugenics. Sheila, you didn't know I was a realtor? Yeah, I was a realtor for 10 years. Yep. So I left at the height of my real estate career, actually. People used to assume that I know the market's been bad, and yeah, I'm sorry you're not doing real estate anymore. And they just assumed that I left because, the market wasn't doing good, or I wasn't making no money or anything like that. And oftentimes I don't even go into the details. I just let them assume. But reality is, I left at the height of my career. I was doing better in real estate when I left than any other time I was there. But it was just time for me to leave. It was time for me to leave because things became overwhelming. And if I knew then what I know now, what I would have done, is another hint. What I would have done is trained a couple of young folks to do what I was doing and allow them to take over my business, and then would let me free up my time to do other things and still benefit off of that business that I had. But I didn't know, I didn't know much about all that, the leveraging part at that part of my life. I had to grow to learn that over time. So, but it all works out for the good. I'm in a better space these days, and I love what I do. And I have a lot more free time, as you can see. And so I enjoy, I get to travel a lot more often and all those other kind of things, because I'm not tied down and bogged down with assisting other people for the vast majority of my time, energy, and effort throughout the day. But I'm trying to get to, as you can see, I'm maneuvering because I'm trying to get to a place where the sun is not beaming. But yes, I did real estate for 10 years and went back. Actually, I left real estate for a couple of years and starting to miss it. And so I went back in and stayed back in for about 6 months. And I was like, oh no, it was the reason I left. Let me get out of here. So I jumped back out, and I've been out ever since. So, yeah. Hey, Delano. Yeah, Delano, if that's Delano Miller, then he and I did real estate together. Adisa. But yeah, again, I just wanted to jump on and share that, and hopefully somebody can use that tidbit of information to assist them along their own journey. Be careful putting too much on your plate, because I don't think we were put here to just be workhorses. You know what I'm saying? And then by the time we get to a certain age, or retirement, whatever that means, have a whole different outlook on even that phrase. But then you work like a horse, and you get to a point of retirement, and then you get to an age where you physically aren't capable of doing a lot of the things that we were once capable of when we were younger. And so your quality of life starts to decline, and next thing you know, you withering away, as opposed to taking the time now, at the prime of your life, now, to do all the things now that you dream of and desire to. So, and another thing that comes along, I think, with sitting still is your creativity strengthens, I think, in a place when you are able to just be still and think. You know what I'm saying? To just be able to sit down. It's a nice day too. It's about 70 degrees. I'm sit myself in the grass for a minute and then to just be and think. And I think that time and space that we allow ourselves to to be without having any additional thoughts on where we need to be at the time, what we could be doing, and we got to cook for dinner, and you know what I'm saying? You know, all those other little nuances of things we consider and think about throughout the course of the day, and just not put all that stuff in the back of your mind and just think. And how a lot of our creativity is manifested in that place, in that space. And so that's helpful too. You know, I think there's something to why so many people do 9 to 5s. They don't have the time and energy for their own dreams. They may have a dream to be something totally different than what they're doing for their 9 to 5. And by the time they're finished and getting off work and getting home and getting situated, the energy it takes to focus on your real dreams and goals, you don't have that energy anymore. You're at, if you started your day off at 100%, let's say fuel, you started your day off at a full tank of gas, and by the time you were finished and got home and got settled, you know, home, now you at a quarter of a tank of gas. And so you don't feel like moving and working in, moving towards your own dreams and goals and aspirations. You don't feel like it physically, you know, your body is not even feeling like it anymore because you gave all your energy to somebody else's dreams and goals and aspirations. So I think things like this is just sitting and thinking and just being and just listening to your spirit. Man, it's so key. But we can't even tune into that if every waking thought is on what we gotta do. We gotta, you know what I'm saying, what the things, the tasks, the day-to-day tasks we gotta do, and worried about, oh my God, I'm behind time and doing this. I should be doing this right now. We aren't even giving ourselves the ability to tap in. So I think just being still. I remember, you know, a few times last year, you know, I love this time of year because the sun is just at its peak, you know, and I love the sun, you know, beaming down on us. But I can remember a couple times at my real estate boutique, and it would just be in the middle of the day and a regular day, and I'm there working, and my energy, my body is like, no, I don't want to be here today. No, we're not going to do this today. And this feeling is so strong that I just obey. So I was just, from nowhere, I'll just be like, okay, you know, I got to go. So, you know, I shut down everything. I'm out of here, you know, I'm out of here. And I'll go to a park or something, and I'll sit on a park bench and just be. Well, you know, I remember a couple times falling asleep, you know, just laying on the park bench and looking up at the sky, and the next thing you know, I'm snoring in the middle of the day where I should be sitting somewhere making some money. But just listening to our own spirits, man, I think it's value in that. It's value in that. Because it will, you know, the spirit world guides us. The spirit world guides us when we allow it to, and it never steers us wrong. Never, ever. I have yet to know that where spirit will guide you when you're really tuned in and listening and understand when you got it in the wrong direction. No, yeah, seeing, gave it all up for the man. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think we all can attest to that. Every last one of us. You know, I've had 9 to 5s, you know, prior to what I'm doing now. And so, you know, but I listened to my spirit. I listened to my spirit when it told me it was time to go. It was time to do something different. It was time to step out on a limb and take a chance. And, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's uncomfortable, it's scary. Yeah, it's going to be scary and all that kind of stuff. But do it anyway. And the more you listen to that inner voice, and the more you allow it to guide you through, the more comfortable you become with just listening to that inner voice. And so you find yourself, you not even got to think about it. You're not scared anymore, where you used to be scared, because you realize through experience that you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. I learned through experience that, hey, you know what I'm saying? If I just allow myself to be guided, I'm taken care of in every way, shape, or form. That's real, family. I'm not just talking just, pretty words. That's real talk. I don't worry about a thing. I don't worry about a thing. Money, I ain't worried about money since I was in real estate. You know what I'm saying? I just don't, because I understand that I understand that the Creator provides. The Creator provides. Especially if you strive to live a righteous life. You strive to, be free of drama, and you ain't out here trying to hurt nobody else, and you ain't out here robbing folks and trying to get over and scheming and conniving and messing around. You know what I'm saying? In ways that hurt other people. That's what it boils down to. Whether it's physical, emotional, or whatever. You ain't out here striving to hurt other people. And you striving, for goodness. You ain't got a thing to worry about. Because that means you in God's good graces. And so He gonna provide for His own. He gonna take care of His own. So money, and I don't worry about none of that kind of stuff anymore. I used to, but not no more. Do it scared. Get on the other side of your fear. Yeah, Delano, that's real talk. Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's how courage is fostered. That's how you become courageous. The people who are courageous, or people we look up to, will be like, wow, I could never do that, or couldn't imagine yourself being in those kind of positions. They get to those positions because they feel the fear and they do it anyway. We all have the same type of emotions running through our veins. It's just how we choose to harness them or not. Do we give in to our fears, or do we keep moving forward, despite how we feel? And like anything else, it becomes repetitious. So after a while, the things that used to scare you don't scare you at all anymore, because you done been through the fire and the storm. And so the outcome. Okay, we're afraid of the unknown. That's what scares us, and we shut down because of the doubts we put in our own minds. Oh my God, if I do this, what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh my God, then that might happen. And then I'm going to be in trouble if that, So we put all those doubts in our minds as opposed to saying, whatever happens, I'm moving forward. It don't matter, whatever the case may be, I'm doing this. And standing in that and moving in that. But we talk ourselves out of our own dreams and goals and successes and things, based on the conversations we have with our own minds. It's real. But so yeah, feel the fear and doing anything anyway. I agree, Delano. But yeah, hey Sheila, you say you needed this message. I love it. I was on. I got the message. That's the beautiful thing about social media. You can say what you want about this social media thing, and it, and that's another choice. We can choose to sit and use this thing for drama and all the negative things and messy things that come along with some messages that are out there, or we can choose to tune in to those who inspire, who uplift, who give us things to think about, who move, who encourage us to move in other directions that are beneficial to our lives. So we got that choice too. It's beauty of free will. And so I was actually listening to a brother online this morning, and there's a reason I'm out here now with no shoes on, because he mentioned how a couple of different brothers actually here lately, grounding. how important it is to ground. Ayanla was the first one to hit me to ground. You can take them shoes off and get in this grass. And you know what I'm saying? Get in this grass and let the earth re-energize you. But then we had Blue Brother Blue Pillar on our show last week, and he mentioned how rubber, because we all have, like, most of us wear shoes with rubber soles now, and rubber is the only material that prevents energy. You can't, it stops the energy conductor, so it prevents the energy from passing through. And it's interesting, isn't it, that rubber is what we choose to put on a lot of shoes these days, and that's the only thing that will prevent the energy, the natural energy, from getting in your feet. So he mentioned take your shoes off. And then I was on a post again this morning with another brother. I forget his name. He's pretty popular too. He does a lot of blogging, and trying to think of his name. But he mentioned grounding. So I was like, oh, that was my third confirmation. Let me get myself out here today and get grounded a little bit. So here I am talking to you guys, and I'm not going to sit here and oh, hi, I am. So your hair is fire. You're so right. We don't have the time for our passions. Yeah, man. And it makes so much. Thank you so much for the compliment too. And it's so much more peaceful when we live in our purpose. Our lives become so much more worth living. And I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from doing things that my spirit used to kick and scream against. Kick and scream against. But you live and learn. Or you should. And, I used to get up to go to certain jobs and stuff when I was younger. And, I had to be dragged out the door because I didn't want to be there and didn't want to go. And, you know what I'm saying? And every waking moment I'm there, I'm looking at the clock. Every 5 minutes, looking at the clock, waiting for you quitting time. Because my spirit couldn't stand being there. And, but you listen to the voices of the world, and they tell you go to school, get a decent job, and make some money, and that's how you gotta get, you gotta get the money in order to have your own place and get a car, and so we listen to all the voices of the world and who come before us and who live their lives repetitiously like that, and we don't know no other way. We're taught by our elders, our parents and their parents, and they teach us in the ways they know. And so I didn't know that I didn't have to do that, that I had other options and other choices. And if I was just tune in and have faith and walk in courage and not fear, that I can, have everything my heart's desired without having to do those kind of things that my spirit just fought against. But yeah, so I'm from experience. I know the difference that a purpose-driven life, how that feels, a difference in how that feels versus when you're not. When you're not, the feeling alone is enough to make you want to move towards a purpose-driven life, because it's just a lot of peace in that. Yeah, I'm saying it's a lot of joy in that. It's a lot of harmony, because you're harmonizing now with the forces of the universe. Because we all been sent here for purpose, a divine purpose, whether we understand it or not. Whether we understand it or not, we all have been sent here for a specific purpose, and sometimes more than one. And when we don't fulfill those purposes that we were sent here for, we suffer. We suffer the consequences for that. And we suffer in ways of emotional imbalance, stress and heartache and pain and disappointment and frustration and sometimes physical ailments and even death, and when we don't, early death, I should say, when we don't move in purpose. So, yeah. All right, family, I'm going to stay here for a little while and just think. So I'm going to get off here. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. And Hanifa and I will be on the Empower Hour for one last Monday next week. And then we're taking a hiatus. She and I usually are on the same wavelength. And I shared with her that, I know when it's time to shut it down, when I'm not in a place of looking forward to it. And so here lately, we've been doing the Empower Hour every week for years. I mean, we took, a few months off when the COVID thing was at its peak. And then we came back after about 3 or 4 months and being off there. We've been on, but we've been doing the Empower Hour now going on 3 years every week. And I just need a break, and she feels the same way. So we're going to take some time away from our weekly program as well. But we will be on next week. And we'll talk to you guys more about that next week. All right, family. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. And I appreciate you so much. All right. Take care of each other out there. Peace.